Scarlet ran her fingers through strands of her red hair, wild, springy locks that contorted in the wind with a mind of their own. She stood at the window of the flat, gazing down into the sea of people moving back and forth in the streets below, going about their business in waves of noise and voices, murmurs, shoes clacking, wheels, thuds, screeches, the sound of the city thundering like ocean waves. "There you are," someone said behind her. She turned reluctantly, tearing her eyes away from the mesmerizing busyness outside, and faced the man who had spoken. The sick feeling was already there in the pit of her stomach. It had manifested the moment the door had opened, and she felt his approach. She said nothing. He hadn't asked a question, and she didn't feel inclined to volunteer a greeting. "What are you looking at out there, huh?" He prodded, without scowling, but somehow conveying his displeasure all the same. She glanced away from him, staring blankly into the distance. Where had Daisy gone? "Aren't you going to say hello?" He huffed an icy chuckle, stretching his arms out toward her as though inviting a hug. Receiving no response, he let them drop again to his sides. "It's been a long time. Don't you recognize me?" Scarlet looked at him for barely an instant before looking away to the door. She knew who he was, and he knew she did. It had been years since she had seen him last, and yet her former impression of him as an unpleasant man was reinforced. "Daisy is close by," he informed her, crossing his arms and staring down at her. Scarlet didn't like it. It had been odd when Daisy brought her home from school by a different route, but she had assumed it was an adventure, an outing, maybe a fun shopping trip. Life in Uruguay had been casual and free like that. Even climbing the stairs to an unknown flat hadn't alarmed her. It overlooked the market and was just the kind of place she liked to watch people. "Why do you suppose your hair is red, Scarlet?" He interrupted her thoughts. "Do you know why? A false friendliness was meant to make his words seem harmless, but they had a sinister taint. "You weren't born that way. You didn't have red hair in the beginning." She shuffled her feet a bit and looked down the hall. The door was closed. Daisy was definitely not in the flat. "It was brown, in case you were wondering." He paused and waited for a response. When she didn't answer, he went on. "You've got something most people could never imagine having, and many would give their right arm for." Again, he waited. Scarlet looked at the walls on the other side of the room, scanning a painting and noticing a light switch. It was off-white. "You don't know you have it, and you don't know how to use it, but you can change things, Scarlet. You can change your hair, or your skin, and maybe other things, too. Your hair is red because you want it that way. Maybe because you think it fits your name." She turned half around, biting her lip and staring out the window again, wishing Daisy would hurry up and get back. "Are you craving? What are you craving?" The man grinned unpleasantly. That word became foul in his mouth, and she hated it. "You may not like it, Scarlet," he said, "but I'm family, and you have to show me some respect. Answer me when I speak to you." Scarlet jutted her chin out, shifting her gaze sideways as she turned back to face him, still not speaking. Lazarus Penn took a couple steps forward and sat down on the couch nearby. He smiled and flexed some muscles on his arms, leaning back and crossing them over his chest. His eyes were brilliantly blue, and his teeth straight and pearly when he smiled. But his cheeks and the skin of his neck sagged like the flesh of an old man, and his fingers were knobby and crooked. His body was a frightening construction, of young and old muscles and membranes. 8 years is old enough to know better, he reproved, splitting his mouth into a grin.